Paula? Hello, do you hear us? Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start in 1 minute, okay?
Oh, sounds good. Sorry for the delay.
No, sorry, ask for the delay. Ella presenta con él, presentan los dos. Es un rato de... Esa, sí. Entonces quizás hay que ponerla en... We're waiting for the presentations to be in both sides, here as
Okay.
well and in YouTube and in Zoom.
All right. Sounds good.
I don't know if it's in purpose, Paula, but you have your camera turned off, right?
Yeah. Should
Okay.
I turn it on now?
It's up to you. I just wanted to let you know that we don't see you. We just see your like the
Okay.
screen,
Yeah.
but it's up to you.
Yeah, I can turn it on
When you present, probably you if you want, you can turn it on.
Yeah, I do that.
Hmm?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
Here, Timo say that they want to know you what? It, the real person.
Yeah, of course.
Parto ya. Okay, so just thinking about the time and the people that probably are online, we're gonna start this session. We have today papers, two papers that are on the topic of early career researchers, and the first one it's from Finland, who we're going to have Timo Arvara and Paula Tulupo presenting structural and substantive equality in finishing higher education. And then we're going to have another session that is from Chile, which is going to be presented by David Marchant. And it's called Nociones y Factores de Éxito para Trayectorias Investigativas Tempranas. Revisión de literatura. So we're going to start with Finland. I think that Timo and Paula are both going to be presenting. So Timo, please.
Yeah, sorry, I have one more thing here. It says here that you can't start your video because the host has stopped it. So it seems that I can't open the camera. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
Sorry about that. That is the technical part that I cannot answer.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for Sheila and team for this great possibility that we have a possibility to collect together here and online and to discuss about these important things. This conference is about gender and about formative years of scholars. And we combined a little bit that we discuss about both in this paper. And we have choose the topic as a structural and substantive equality. And I'm going to say that what is the framework and what are they for us. They might be something different for different scholars. I hope so, because we also always have views about it, and we are willing to discuss about this framework. because one of the reasons that we have a paper here is, of course, that we want cooperation about these issues, and there's no cooperation without discussion. And we refer a little bit to CAP data 2008, compare it to data of 2018 of APIKS. And I want to pay attention for that and emphasize that it is that questions about the formative years of scholars were not there in CAP, so we can't compare that side. Well, so we are three, in fact, but because our time was changed from Wednesday to Tuesday, we lost Ville Tenhunen, but in his heart he is present with us, and he will be here in the conference tomorrow. So, our idea here is to think about that two things. That one is quite methodological issue. It is that what were the response thinking about when they were answering the questions regarding equality and also about formative years of scholars. And the other thing is that what are their expectations, what they wish, that how they think that things could happen in the academy and more large in the society, and what is happening in reality. And APIKS data gives a great opportunity to think about two of them, because as a human people, we usually think that we expect that we are treated like cases like that. Everybody in the same situation are treated a similar way. Well, of course, it's a goal and it's important principle, but there are many obstacles that it seldom happens. I don't remember that it happened to me in last half a year, even once. That there are so many reasons that people have their background in the disciplines, and they use different concepts, and they don't understand you, and they underestimate you, or they compete in a way that they shouldn't, maybe like that. But usually that's not the real problem. The problem is that when there is this arbitrariness as a morally unsound actions, like Panakia says. So it's like when you are systematically treated in a way that you don't accept. So then it's a problem, and it's a systematic problem, and there is something that we have to do for that. So that's why we have in our framework we have our considerations that what is the validity of our respondents. Maybe we can't interpret the data only from one perspective. Maybe we should have several perspectives, and we picked three. And they were like taking a status in profession, especially this concerns G section answers of formative scholars. Taking a status in profession can happen in many ways. That how is your affiliation to universities take place, and so on. And Rector Emilio Rodriguez paid attention on the forms of academic capitalism today, and the way you form your own workplace, your own room, your own comfort zone in the academy. And you feel that when it's done in the sense of academic capitalism, you feel that I have a right to keep this for me because I've earned this, even if it's a task of the university, and even if the knowledge is global and shared. So you think that this is mine. This ring is mine. So this is that you're taking a status in the profession. Other perspective is academic career, and we have so many tenure track systems globally, and all these practices in human resources policies, and that are different in every universities, even in the same countries, in the same systems, private or public, it's different. And people have different perspectives when they answer these very sensitive questions that we ask in a CAP and also in APIKS. And working life as such has changed a lot because life is changing, and we have so many global changes that we have faced in last years. Age and in society, for example, people work different way, and as we very soon can see in APIKS results, the work that is done different way. In our data, the respondents are aging almost 1 year every year. So they are older. They know things better. They are working faster in the fields that they are used to work, what is their comfort zone. When they have to go to new zones, of course, the situation is a little bit different, but they work fast and they use less time in some things. And it's a very interesting phenomenon that we want to discuss here. So when we talk about equality, we very often talk about, at least in Finland, we talk about structural equality, and we want to ensure the security of academics, and we pay attention of insecurity of academic careers. For example, in our system in universities, we have two systems. We have a system of universities, research universities, and universities of applied sciences. And they are two different worlds. In universities, there are 4 career stages, and most of the scholars work in the first 2 steps. And there is no vacant posts in 2 first steps, only in the 3rd and 4th steps. In University of Applied Sciences, you can get a vacant post in the first step when you start to work there. So when we talk about insecurity, we talk about very practical issues, that what kind of work assignment you have, and what are the consequences of that, and how many ladders you have to climb until you have a secure post in the academy, and you can afford to academic freedom. So these are the big questions. Frankly to say, I didn't realize it when we were planning the APIKS, that how sensitive questions we ask. Only when we were analyzing and reading the results, it was clear that now we have touched something that is in the very deep in people's heart. Maybe I. Yeah. So, okay, thank you. Thank you. So, well, instead of structural equality, we want to speak here about substantive equality, which is equality of these opportunities we have. When we think about the work in society, we usually think about what happens in time when the work is done. But when we discuss about the academic work in APIKS and in academy, so we discuss about something that hasn't happened yet. It's full of opportunities, possibilities. It's full of interrelated dimensions of cooperation, inside and outside of your organization. And these things make it a little bit sensitive to think about equality. So should you be equal to what if you demand for equality? So and then as we heard today earlier in presentations, there are so many performance management systems globally. So these things are affecting a lot that how the opportunity for results are divided and things like that. When you shall be equal, when you work for the larger goals, when you have to share, when you have your own patents and trademarks and things like that. So it's a big thing for academy, not necessarily for education, for social sciences, but for sciences, engineering, technology. It's a big thing. They are practical things. So we picked European Convention of Human Rights, and we think about APIKS results regarding these from four dimensions. And of course, this is part of the discussion we originally picked by Sandra Friedman. It's about redistributive dimension. Firstly, it means that how we redress all these disadvantages we see that, and we can pick also from the surveys, how we understand them and do something for them. But it's also another dimension. It's a recognition dimension. It's like addressing stigma and because you are somebody that and how things are stereotyping, that you using methods that we don't accept because you using qualitative methods you don't understand, or you use quantitative methods you understand even less, and things like that. So academia is full of these kind of discussions, and there is also some phenomena that comes up from the literature, like violence and things that happens in the academy. So these are also real things, but it's not enough. In academy, it's very important that there is a participative dimension, that you have access for decision making, you have a possibility for academic leadership roles, you have a possibility to influence to your own work. And it's not only about academic freedom, it's also about your position and security when you are there. So it's about your voice and participation in decision making. And the fourth dimension we're thinking about is a transformative dimension, which is a little bit more complicated because it combines all these and makes your increase your possibilities to influence. But that's why comparing to time when CAP was carried out and when APIKS was carried out, there is a big difference. There has been affirmative and proactive actions. So affirmative actions that to avoid discrimination in some, like for example, filling the post process. There has been a process where, for example, women are preferred of candidates, and it's said loudly and like this. And we are happy that we picked these things from the APIKS survey, like it's coming very soon. And this concept of substantive equality, it's important for us in this regard, because all these visible and invisible disadvantages are there for our analysis. And if we think only about structural dimension of equality, we think about regulation and implementation of that and like that. But if we think from the perspective of substantive equality, we put people all together and responsibilities and there are responsibilities, and there are also things that you can avoid not to do. You can live with some things if you can define the most important things. And structural equality is not enough. That's what we think, because in regulation, in laws, acts, it is said a lot of good things, but they are not fit perfectly for anyone. So that's why we need a substantive equality. So life is very different for people. So of course, everybody wants to treat similar way in similar situations. So that's of course the main thing. But there are disciplines, and they have a different perspectives. We learned from CAP that laboratory sciences and other sciences have a little bit different world. They act different way, and their interdependence is different. And of course, we have learned about age cohorts, and we have learned that understanding what is work is different in different age cohorts. Of course, we think about age cohort as a 5 years age cohort, but we can talk about generations here. That how we find the work, and what are our expectations for that, and what is our engagement for the academy, and of course for the external functions like service functions and societal interaction. And that's what we discuss in a paper too. And of course, these practices for rights and opportunities are there all the time. And that came out also from CAP very clearly. And it's a good thing to compare. So we have different recruitment policies in different countries. Inside the countries, we had different recruitment policies in different higher education systems, private, public, like vocational, tertiary education, and universities, and so on. But some things make it happen that in Finland, in our data, there is no system for that. For example, there is a tenure track. There are tenure tracks practically in all universities, but there is no national tenure track system. That what it means, and it is not implemented systematically. That in the same university you can be treated like a person who can achieve a tenure track, and some others don't, and you don't necessarily know that what's the reason for that. And all this affiliation to university has changed from CAP to APIKS a lot, that there are more part-timers and more foreign nationalities and so on. So equality has become a big thing. So under inclusiveness is a concept here that if we recognize that something is systematical, so we have to do something. We have to do affirmative actions. So it's better to go to data, because that's what we are here for. These philosophical questions are important too, because it gives us a possibility to think about cooperation, and data separates us, but framework unites us. So, but if we take a look at that, we have divided our analysis in two parts. What the respondents want, what are their preferences, and how it happens in reality. So these are the two things, and these are the things that are important in equality. So if we think about this question that where do your interests primarily lie, on teaching, on research? Very important question. Are you teaching or are you working in research mostly? So what we find out was that when we discuss about the interests where they primarily lie, there are no real differences, and it's amazing that males and females think similar way, but more important is that there is no institutional differentiation. Even if University of Applied Sciences are focused first of all for teaching purposes, and universities are based on research. So the academics work in both systems. They think a quite similar way, and and uh, um, and of course the type of higher education institution forms like a scissors that there is more teaching in University of Applied Sciences and less there in the in the universities, and when we go to research there is more in universities and less in vice versa in University of Applied Sciences. But these are remarkable things that the differences are so small. And we were thinking about it a little bit that it's good to take a look on correlations about it. That what happens in in a time when the classes are in session and a time when classes are not in session. Are academics more equal when classes are not in session? That was our hypothesis, and we tested that. But the fact is that we expected the differences to come in. And if we take a look first the CAP survey, we can recognize that the correlations are very small. So if we think about the age, or if we think about more precisely the years in the academy, spent in the academy. So when there are more years, it seems that females teach less and they do more research. That's what our correlation tells about. So younger females are teaching more, and when they have been more years in the academy, they have more possibilities for research. So that is quite clear. And for males, the phenomenon is really the same, but it's larger. And now when we are thinking about the aging, and we are thinking about how the work is changing in society, this is quite remarkable to take a look on that, because it seems that you get an access to higher education when you teach, but in the older ages, you also teach more. In fact, if you compare female scholars of the top years in the academy and those who are coming into academy in the first years, so those in top years teach more in hours, as we can see very soon. So how come that? It's because the access to universities is that you have a research plan, maybe funding, and you focus on research. And if you are in a tenure track, you have a permit to focus on research, and you teach minimum. And then when you are in the older age, and you have been many years in the academy, you have learned to teach, and you don't get rid of that even if you could, because there is a need for teaching, and you fulfill this need. So it seems that people are doing what they can and what is their comfort area. They work harder. So if we take a look this on APIKS, you can see this clearly, that most of the correlations don't mean so much, but for example, university research that it's growing in the age is meaningful here, and that women get opportunities for what they want to do according to years in the academy. So that's what it tells clearly. So we expected that when classes are not in session, there are less differences between sectors, especially. But that didn't take place, in fact. When these are not so remarkable, but when classes are not in session, those who have a lot of responsibilities and have more years in the academy in their back, so they have a possibilities to research more according to age. When there is this possibility, you act more. But this possibility doesn't exist so much in the University of Applied Sciences. I think Paula will come to these issues more carefully soon. But the point is here that there is a traditional 8 weeks break. You don't come to University of Applied Sciences. You have your freedom. It's a historical tradition, and you break in a way that you don't have this kind of that classes are not in session period like universities. So what we recognized was that the system is basically the same, but it seems that your possibilities to fill the gap is not similar. And it's even stronger in APIKS, the phenomenon. And it has become stronger because people have to focus on what they do more than they used to. Because they are teaching a lot, and and there has been a lot of development of teaching facilities and technology and all this. So they have to focus on their 8 weeks, not to research, but teaching issues, because it's their main issue. And that was a little bit disappointed for us, frankly to say. We expected that from CAP to APIKS would be happen something else. So years into academy really makes a difference. So if you are muddling through your first years and you survive your first 20 years and you get your vacant post, so then your life is that you can choose what you want. But it seems that Finnish academics, they don't pick their comfort area, but they do what they have to do, and they work hard. And that's a little bit tricky. So, but I think that as usual, I have spoken too much, and I will speak more, but I have to give the floor to my colleague Paula. Paula, can you hear us? But we can't hear you. We hear you, but wait a minute.
¿Nos pueden ayudar? Por favor. Gracias. We're
Wait a minute.
just 1 second, Paula. I think that we are just hearing you in the computer, but not in the mic.
It's coming out only from this level. Está hablando bien afuera. Sounds perfect. Wait a minute, Paula. This is not a big issue for us. We know what is hybrid teaching, so we have used to that.
Paula, did you change anything in your computer? Well,
No,
no.
no, I
Okay.
didn't.
Now we are hearing you. Okay. So now you can start. Thank you. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
thank you. That's okay. Okay. So, so when we think about gender equality in terms of time use and what has happened between CAP data in 2008 and APIKS data in 2018, um, we can notice that when classes in session, women were teaching more than men in 2008 and also in 2018, so the situation remained the same. And also in 2008, women were doing research slightly more than men. But in 2018, the share of women researchers were decreased, while the share of men doing research was approximately the same as earlier. And we were wondering why is that? And maybe the possible explanations were related to the issue that the working life has changed in many ways in 10 years' time, and in 2018 there were more women in higher positions than earlier, and they probably use less time in research. But also, according to the data in 2018, less time is used on work in general. Still, nowadays, more time is used, for example, in filling with funding applications, which is not always considered as working time. So it is also possible that maybe some women who were doing research earlier are doing more funding applications and things like that. They probably use more time on that. Um, the time that they probably used on research earlier. So that is maybe one explanation. But yeah, that was interesting to see that the thing was like that. And according to the data, sometimes also it's on external activities and administration services and things like that. But the share was not that big there, and there was no very big differences between gender. Okay, now we can have the next one. Can I change the slide? Okay, thank you. So when the classes were not in session, women taught more than men, both in 2008 and 2018. So that was the similar as in previous slides. But when the classes were not in session, there was more time to do research, and this was visible in both 2008 and 2018. Still, when we compare the years 2008 and 2018, we notice that the amount of research decreased. And at the same time, the share of external activities grew within women and men. So networking and connections outside academia have been more important lately, so that is possibly why the external activities were sort of taking probably part of the time that was used for research earlier. And okay, then we can next one. And then when we take a look at the time spent by sectors, we notice that universities emphasize research, while University of Applied Sciences emphasize teaching. And here you can see really the difference that has been there already in 2008, but similarly in 2018. So the situation has been the same. So universities of applied sciences are more focused, not so much in research, but teaching issues and that kind of practical related issues more. And yeah, and then the next one. Time spent by the sector classes when there are no classes and classes are not in session. Similarly, similarly to the results with gender, when the classes are not in session, more time is used in research, especially at universities, but also at universities of applied sciences. The time used for research has remained almost the same from 2008 to 2018. And yeah, at the University of Applied Sciences, also the time used for teaching was higher in 2018 than in 2008. So there was still a bit of increase in that as well. But yeah, more research was done and there was more time for that. Okay, thank you. Back to Timo.
Thank you, Paula. Okay, we do this quickly. So, as to say, it's important to understand these differences between CAP and APIKS to understand this general view. Maybe we know something about the questions that we didn't have in CAP also, and some of them are about the scholars' informative years. This one is about them, and we see the picture that we have define it, the meaning of the first years, how they differ from the last years. That according to years in the academy, your work is changing. As you can see here, so when it was asked that how many % of the time goes to your daily academic work, so it's about half in both sectors and males and females. And there is no difference about it. So half of the time goes to your main issue. But the big thing is, of course, that where the other half goes and how can you define about it. And when you think about your professional development, it's amazing that in the first years, those from University of Applied Sciences have a possibility to develop their teaching skills and learn more about teaching technology and pedagogy a lot, and they have programs how to develop that, and University of Applied Sciences are supporting them in courses and formal education too about these things. And in universities, there are so many posts that you focus on research, and you can focus 1 day a week for your own professional development in the beginning of your, in the last years of the academy. It's a dream. You have no possibility for that. So this is a dream workplace from that point of view, but you don't have vacant posts in universities. So that's the point. So we have learned from the G section, means formative years service section, that it's what is going on there in the first years in the academy, and I think it's one of the benefits of the APIKS. I haven't seen anything else about it. So when we come to conclusions, I want to say that the working hours really are acid test that what is the working life in the academy according to APIKS. That men work more hours in research and women work more hours in teaching. So that's what we know, and it defines a lot what is the future career, and that's one of the issues that APIKS really pays attention. And of course, it's explained for many reasons. Women are working in the disciplines in faculties where there is a lot of teaching. So they are majority in there, and vice versa is men. But there's also a lot of things that are still unexplained. What explained is, we shortly discuss about that why for example, administrative functions are negative, even if for women, even if the negative correlation, even if the number of hours is increasing. The reason is that now in the middle ranks, the women are taking the administrative responsibilities and academic leaders posts, and they are working hard for that purpose. In the early career, they were teaching more than men. In the middle career, now they take responsibilities maybe faster than men, and in the last years, they spend less time in research than men. So this is the picture what we have now based on APIKS, and the big thing is, of course, that if it changes according to generations, about 75% of the top ranking academics in the universities are men, 25 women, and it's vice versa when we take students in. So it's for sure it is changing, but it takes time, and we don't have time to wait generations for these things. We think about Pareto principle, that it's our conclusion that you know this principle like laymen say that it's like people use 80% of time for 20% of the result and vice versa. 20% of the time of 80% what they achieve. So who can decide how you divide according to Pareto principle? That's a big question. It's a question of substantive equality in the academy, and structural equality is important, but it's not enough because it's related of substantive equality. Who can define and who can define about his or her own work? So without substantive equality, there is no academic freedom. That's our point. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Timo and Paula. Now we are going to present David Marchand. I'm going to put your presentation.
Hola, muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es David Marchand y el año pasado, junto a Carla Fardela y Nicolás Trujillo, escribimos una investigación que se titula Nociones y factores de éxito para trayectorias investigativas tempranas. Les pido disculpas al público angloparlante, pero voy a hablar todo en español. Nuestra investigación se trató de una revisión sistemática de literatura, donde consideramos 87 artículos académicos. Y lo que hicimos fue recolectar y ordenar sus ideas en torno al éxito de la trayectoria investigativa temprana, qué es lo que significa una trayectoria investigativa temprana exitosa y cuáles eran los factores que consideraban relevantes o detonantes para estos éxitos. La trayectoria investigativa es un objeto gubernamental reciente en América Latina. A finales del siglo XX, los esfuerzos de los ecosistemas nacionales estaban puestos en la formación de capital humano avanzado, pero debido a las pocas capacidades instaladas en la región, se privilegió la formación en el extranjero y hubo poca planificación por las condiciones en que se desempeñarían en el trabajo estas personas. De manera que cuando obtuvieron sus grados y tuvieron que volver a sus países de origen, se encontraron con que tenían que trabajar de manera casi exclusiva en universidades. Esto produjo que un clima de trabajo donde la fuerza laboral científica estaba concentrada en estas instituciones, se vivía alta competitividad y inseguridad y precariedad laboral, además de una insuficiente capacidad por hacer traspaso de las capacidades tecnológicas del capital humano avanzado al sector empresarial. Chile es un caso ejemplar dentro de la región con respecto a estos dos problemas. La mayor parte de sus investigadoras e investigadores son personas jóvenes que obtuvieron su doctorado hace aproximadamente menos de 10 años. También son personas que tienen una alta productividad, pero que se desempeñan casi exclusivamente en universidades. Esto trae el problema de que se forman trayectorias investigativas sumamente uniformes y que están expuestas a una serie de dificultades. En definitiva, la situación de Chile supone un desafío para la política pública en la gestión de las trayectorias investigativas tempranas. Ahora, cuando nosotros fuimos a investigar cómo la política pública se nutre de los datos empíricos aportados por las investigaciones locales, nos encontramos con el trabajo de Miranda Nieto, que fue sumamente importante para nosotros, porque es una revisión de literatura sobre cómo se hace investigación de trayectorias investigativas tempranas en América Latina. Y este trabajo denuncia una serie de falencias en la investigación local. La primera, y quizás más importante de todas ellas, es que en América Latina no contamos con una definición estandarizada de lo que es trayectoria investigativa temprana. Entonces, a pesar de que usamos el mismo concepto en diferentes países, entendemos cosas totalmente diferentes. El segundo problema es que la investigación local usa técnicas homogéneas en la producción de sus datos y no da cuenta de sus marcos interpretativos, de modo que es difícil reconocer sus alcances. Entonces, en este escenario de conceptos nebulosos, difusos, donde es difícil saber a qué nos estamos refiriendo con trayectoria investigativa temprana, a nosotros nos pareció adecuado introducir la idea de éxito, y el éxito como lo que nos permite reconocer en qué consiste la trayectoria investigativa temprana en la experiencia internacional cuando funciona adecuadamente. Entonces nuestra pregunta de investigación fue: ¿cómo se ha definido el éxito en la trayectoria investigativa temprana y cuáles son los factores que producen estos éxitos? Para ello diseñamos como les contaba, una revisión sistemática de literatura según las estrategias de la declaración Prisma, de manera que comenzamos identificando los términos de nuestra búsqueda y los motores en los cuales la realizaríamos. Y nuestro hallazgo en bruto dio cuenta más o menos de 3.000 resultados. Estos resultados fueron procesados en 3 etapas de filtros, lo que nos condujo a una reducción de artículos que llegó a nuestro número final de 87. Si me permiten contarle un poquito de estos 87 artículos, tratan en su mayoría son del área de ciencias de la salud, usan técnicas más o menos en un número equitativo de técnicas cualitativas y cuantitativas. Sus técnicas de producción de datos son la entrevista, la encuesta, el panel de expertos, entre otros, y utilizan fuentes de datos mayoritariamente primarias. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que nos dice la literatura sobre el éxito en la trayectoria investigativa temprana? En primer lugar, que su resultado más patente y más valorado es una alta productividad. Y alta productividad entendida de 3 formas. La primera es la publicación de artículos científicos, especialmente si es en revistas de corriente principal y más aún si tienen altos índices de impacto. En segundo lugar, la adjudicación de concursos, ya que permite el desarrollo de actividades de investigación de manera autónoma. Y tercero, pero mucho más rezagado en relación a los otros 2 elementos, las actividades de docencia y difusión del conocimiento científico por otros medios. Segundo significado asociado al éxito: el ascenso de la jerarquía académica. Gran número de publicaciones de las que revisamos considera que la trayectoria investigativa temprana es una fase intermedia entre el término de la formación académica y la inserción en el mundo del trabajo, de manera que tener una plaza fija de trabajo en una universidad es la manera más patente de considerar que se ha cruzado con éxito esa etapa. Tercer significado del éxito: el desarrollo de capacidades profesionales, como por ejemplo la expertise disciplinar, que es la adquisición de una serie de conocimientos de especialización en un tema particular. También la autonomía, que como decía tenía que ver con en parte con ganarse fondos concursables, pero también tiene que ver con la capacidad de generar independencia del tutelaje del mentor o mentora. En tercer lugar, la integración a una comunidad disciplinar y aparejado con esto, el desarrollo de capacidades de liderazgo, que también tiene mucho que ver con el prestigio que se genera al interior de esta comunidad. Por último, el cuarto significado que se asocia al éxito de las trayectorias investigativas tempranas es una buena calidad de vida, y entendida de dos formas, como la satisfacción con el trabajo, ya sea con las actividades que se hacen en el trabajo, con los tiempos que se le dedican al trabajo, el salario que se percibe en el trabajo, y también una buena salud mental, entendida como higiene, especialmente evitando las situaciones de estrés y de soledad. Ahora, con respecto a los factores que desencadenan estos éxitos, eh, hallamos que la literatura dedica bastante atención a la integración a una comunidad, especialmente en tener un mentor o mentora. Este fue un elemento muy importante porque permite la guía en ciertos conocimientos académicos, pero también la entrega de consejos en áreas no necesariamente relacionadas con el trabajo, que según la literatura es muy apreciada por los investigadores en trayectoria temprana. Además, las redes de colaboración son importantes en la integración a una comunidad porque permiten la apertura de condiciones de trabajo y la escritura de artículos científicos con pares laborales. Segundo, el apoyo institucional, es decir, la disposición coordinada de la fuerza de trabajo para solventar los problemas que aquejan a los investigadores en trayectoria temprana, también fue muy valorado por la literatura. Tercero, la disminución de desigualdades que afectan a grupos específicos, particularmente en género y en origen étnico, ya que existe suficiente evidencia de que hay grupos no hegemónicos que se ven afectados por desigualdades que ponen trabas a su desarrollo exitoso. Cuarto, algunas habilidades individuales que son predictoras del éxito, por ejemplo, la proactividad y la motivación. La proactividad entendida como la toma de la iniciativa que permite anticipar algunas de las características que mencionaba de autonomía y de liderazgo, y la motivación como el entusiasmo con el desarrollo de actividades de investigación que impide el desgaste en estas actividades a largo plazo. Quinto, algunas competencias profesionales relevantes como la planificación de la trayectoria investigativa, y con esto me refiero al diseño de agendas o calendarios de trabajo con los cuales anticipar, por ejemplo, el número de artículos científicos que se piensa escribir, a qué universidad se quiere ofrecer los servicios, etc. También la calidad de la institución donde se recibió la formación académica es un factor que, eh, que ayuda a predecir el éxito posterior, tanto como la productividad que existe en etapas anteriores a esta etapa de la trayectoria investigativa temprana, especialmente en el doctorado. Y por último, el bienestar, entendido como la vida familiar u hogareña, y de nuevo, la salud mental, entendida como evitar situaciones de estrés o de soledad. Entonces, estos son los factores que desencadenan o condicionan las formas de éxito que les nombraba antes. Ahora bien, como se pudieron dar cuenta, hay algunos elementos que tienen un carácter ambivalente, que aparecen tanto en las ideas o las nociones del éxito como en los factores que lo producen. Y para nosotros fue sumamente importante y positivo notarlos y destacarlos, porque nos permitió una comprensión mucho más compleja de lo que son los factores de éxito. La productividad, por ejemplo, que yo les hablaba al comienzo, que es el significado más patente del éxito y que luego aparece como el predictor también, a su vez, de productividades futuras, también fue abordado por algunas investigaciones de manera sumamente crítica e indicaban que la productividad no solamente es un factor que desencadena el éxito, sino que también puede retardarlo. ¿En qué sentido? En que exacerbar conductas de alta productividad puede empeorar la salud mental, y al empeorar la salud mental se produce un efecto indeseado sobre la misma productividad que se buscaba aumentar. Del mismo modo, yo les decía recién que el bienestar tiene que ver con la vida hogareña, vida familiar, pero ese es un factor que cambia cuando consideramos los géneros de las personas eh, que, que se ven afectadas por ese factor. Por ejemplo, los hombres tienden al éxito cuando tienen vida familiar, pero las mujeres tienden a retardar su éxito porque se hace cargar sobre ellas ciertas responsabilidades que a los hombres no. De este modo, hay otros factores como la integración a la comunidad, el desarrollo de las capacidades profesionales que también pueden actuar como puntos o como hitos de quiebre al trabajo o de adecuación al trabajo. En ese sentido, lo más relevante que nuestra investigación puede aportar es que considerar un conjunto de factores y una relación entre factores es mucho más adecuado a la hora de considerar significados del éxito. Y por último, ya en relación a los aportes, a la discusión en torno a las definiciones de la trayectoria investigativa temprana, nuestra investigación avanza en una comprensión del éxito donde es necesario generar dimensiones complementarias en los factores que lo producen. Muchísimas gracias por escucharme. Pertenezco a un centro de estudios que se llama Ciencia Diversa, así que si quieren conocer más información sobre nosotros, cienciadiversa.cl. Muchas gracias. ¿Te lo dejo aquí?
Tenemos otra reunión, pero... Bueno, muchas gracias a las dos presentaciones que tuvimos hoy día. Debido a que tenemos otras reuniones y estamos un poco atrasados, los dejo invitados para que puedan conversar tanto con David como Timo durante el coffee break que va a ser a las 5. Muchas gracias.